Hey guys, it's LynkPlaysGames. Welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to take a moment and talk with you guys because I missed the channel's anniversary. I didn't get the chance to upload a video in time for the 4-year anniversary of me being on YouTube, my senior year of YouTube. I've hit year 4 and I am definitely not off to a good start. Sorry. I'm trying my best. I've been working so hard here lately and just been nonstop and I am exhausted. But I wanted to take a moment and reflect with you guys about some of the big changes that have come up in my life since starting YouTube and talking a little bit about where I was to where I am now and how just in the matter of years things can change so much. Now I want to, kind of rewind just a good little bit back to when I was in this room at 13 years old, and I had a hard time in my preteen years, my young years, because I was mad at the world for everything and anything I could be mad at the world for. I was very much an angsty teen. There was so much anger within me. And on top of that, I was bullied, I was picked on for things that were out of my control. Like, I know, I ain't got the prettiest smile. I've got really horrible teeth. I need to go to a dentist. Yeah, and though as a kid, you don't see it that way. You hear people telling you, oh, your teeth are awful. Look at me, I got braces. I'm gonna have perfect teeth. And you get mad at the world because you can't have braces in that moment. And you can't have perfect teeth like Sally Sue. You know? Whereas now, people are like, oh, look at my teeth. I don't want to look at your teeth. Oh, you got something green in there. Like, I'm an asshole, okay? I will not lie about that. I am very petty and can be a bit of an asshole when someone pisses me off, but I'm not as angry as I used to be. And I definitely don't internalize that anger as much as I used to. If I get mad about something, I get mad and then I let it go within like an hour. Whereas before, if I was mad about something, I'd be mad for like a year. So you could imagine, like, my whole teenage years, I was just angry. But specifically when I was about 13 years old, my stepsister and I were actually, like, hanging out in our room. It was late at night. She was watching a video on her iPod or her phone or whatever. And she goes, hey, I think you would like this. It's kind of scary. You like scary things, which I've always been a fan of horror. And so my stepsister's like, hey, watch this video. And she turns her phone around to me and she unplugs her headphones and we're sitting there watching, and it's Markiplier play some Skinwalker game. This was like 11 or so years ago. And so I'm watching and I'm in awe because there's this funny guy who looks like a complete dork, and he's over here playing video games for fun. And of course I see the view count is so high and he's doing all this, that, everything else. And like, he's doing everything that I wanted to do. And I was like, this is legit a thing. And my stepsister's like, yeah, didn't you know? And I was very unplugged as a child. I did not have an iPod until like, I think 14 years old. So like, I was in awe with Markiplier. And then, like I said, about 14 years old was when I got the phone and I was able to get an iPod Touch. And so really the only thing I could do, I really couldn't message nobody. I couldn't, have social media, but I had YouTube. So I'd get off from school, come home, watch this man be a complete goofball on the internet, be himself, and have fun playing video games. And I'm like, I want to do that. And so, like, I would start giving that answer in school, saying, oh, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a gaming YouTuber. I want to do this. I want to do that. And so many people told me, you can't do that. Pick a real job. You know, why don't you go for being a teacher? Why don't you go for doing something that's an actual career? And I was just like, what do you mean? This man makes thousands of dollars playing video games. And even if I didn't do it for YouTube, I could become a beta tester and still make a ton of money playing video games. And they're like, no, that's not a real career. Playing video games is not going to get you through life. I would love to have a conversation with those teachers now. And definitely would love to go speak to their classes about how years ago those teachers had told me, you can't do it. And here I am. Basically, I went from being bullied, being told that my dream job wasn't achievable, being told I was unrealistic, all this, that, everything else. And slowly I built towards it. And at first I tried to do music videos on YouTube. Like, I was trying to do, like, covers of songs and, like, become the next big singer. And, of course, like, my friends at the time were all starting to do that, too. Well, they had more stuff than I did. They had more opportunity to do things and learn things than I did. So guess who was, in a way, left behind? And for that, people would pick on me and be like, well, you don't have the, Musical.ly, and you don't have Vine, and you don't have this, and you don't have Instagram, and blah, 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 blah. I didn't have the next big thing. And so I started to withdraw from those friends. I started to feel worse about myself. I get to the end of high school, and basically I, looked around, and there was all these people I thought were my friends. Graduation night, I went home, and I sat in my room, and I cried, and I watched Markiplier. Meanwhile, my friends, they were all at graduation parties. They spent the entire weekend into the next week partying while I sat by myself. That was tough because I was still scrolling through Instagram and Facebook, and I was seeing everyone at these parties. And nobody reached out. No one said, hey, you want to come with me? I even tried to ask somebody to go with them, and they lied to me and told me that the person canceled the party because something about their family coming into town. I was like, oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear it got canceled, whatever. And then I saw on Instagram within the next few hours that it never got canceled. So I went from that and feeling very unpopular, unpretty, very beside myself and alone in this world, to thinking, I can't do gaming videos, but would be great if I could do makeup videos. So I started watching James Charles and Jeffree Star and all these other beauty creators, and I started recreating their looks, and I started to buy makeup when I could, and I tried to buy the better brands, and I try to have it all, like all the bigger makeup creators. The only thing is, 1, I burned out on money. 2, I burned out on makeup. It felt like there was no originality in the makeup community anymore, even though there was, but the only way to be seen is to hop on a trend. And even then, that was oversaturated with other people my age trying to jump in, and I still felt ugly compared to other people. And so eventually I walked away from doing makeup videos. I walked away from doing makeup videos and I just kind of took a year to myself to figure out what I wanted in life. At that point, I had no job. I had one friend. I still had a drive to want to be a gaming creator. I still watched Markiplier every day. He still made every day better for me. Unis Honest was a thing, and I lived for that every single day. And hearing Mark and Ethan say you have 1 year to, live your life. What are you going to do with that 1 year? Their message from Unis Honest is what pushed me forward. And I got to work. And by the end of that 1 year, I had a channel going. And so I said, I get another year to do this because I'm doing good. Let's go for it. And the more momentum I picked up and the more I kept going, the better it got. At that point, after starting my channel, I had my driver's license. I had a new job. Then I had a new relationship. Spoiler alert, it didn't go well in the end. But I had that at that point in time. So I was doing good at that job. And then I started getting sick a lot. And then I ended up on a medication, an antibiotic that made me extremely sick. So my health was downhill. At the time I was identifying as trans, and then I kind of started to realize I'm more so non-binary, but without actually giving the true definition of anything. I just kind of explained that I wasn't identifying as trans anymore. And so I slowly slid more into the feminine side of things and allowed myself to wear makeup again, though there are times I don't wear makeup. And I just kind of kept pushing and kept going, and then I got a different job. And it was a better job for me at the time because I needed one where I wasn't running around like crazy while I regained muscle strength. And so I ended up in banking, and I ended up meeting a lot of great people, and I was able to start live streaming on YouTube, and I was able to, I moved in with my, at the time, boyfriend, again, now ex. I was able to do so much more and get my channel up and running and learn how to PC game. And then I got monetized, and then one by one, these little things started to come into play and to build up my channel and build me up more. And though I was not fully confident in myself yet, it built up my confidence in what I could do with myself. I feel like the beginning of this year, the end of last year, was when I finally learned that there's nothing wrong with me. That for all these years I thought I was defective. I thought I was the problem. I thought I was not good enough and not pretty enough and not, perfect enough. And I think the beginning of this year is when it really sank in for me. So for my last channel's birthday, I was able to do a cool merch design. I was able to do this cool thing. I felt great. And then a month later was my birthday. So I get to my birthday. And that was a tough day, honestly. I didn't really do much to celebrate my birthday. I had dinner with my parents. I went out for the morning with my ex's mom. And it was like, okay, but I'm not actually celebrating. Okay. I didn't really have friends at the time to celebrate with. And I felt lonely. I used to tell my ex all the time, I could be in a house full of people, we could have both families in one house and I would still feel alone, and I don't know why I feel this way. My ex brushed it off. He told me that I was, just going through it, or that's just how you are, blah, 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 blah. Giving me some excuse instead of trying to figure it out. Instead of trying to say, hey, I want to understand where you're coming from. I don't want you to feel alone. He just, oh, okay. And he walked away. I've lost somebody in my family. Had to travel back up to New York. Came back. A whole bunch of dramas happen. And as, me in the past has done before, when there's drama, I try to step away from it. And so I was really sick because I had COVID. And then I just wanted to be home. And by the time I was finally able to be home, I didn't want to be there. I did not feel comfortable. I did not feel welcomed. I did not feel like I should be there. So I was trying to figure out, why is that so extreme? Why is that feeling right there in my face? And I kept on and I kept on and I kept moving forward. Christmas passed and it was a lonely Christmas. New Year's Eve, it didn't feel like holidays because I wasn't celebrating with nobody I cared about or nobody I wanted to celebrate with. I didn't even care to celebrate. And then the big breakup happened. And I realized very quick how thankful I am for that. How much I personally needed it. When you just kind of push yourself into something and you try to hold yourself in one place and tell yourself that you need to be right here, you eventually convince yourself that that's what you need to be doing. That's how you need to be. If you try to walk away from that, then your life's gonna fall apart. So you sit there in that one spot and you plan to stay in that spot for the rest of your life. And then you get thrown out of it. And you panic. And that's what I did at first. I panicked and I'm like, oh my God, what do I do now? How do I do this? And finally I just sat and I thought, no. All these big things that have happened these last few years, I've accomplished. It wasn't because of him I accomplished it. It wasn't because of his PC that I did good. It wasn't because of a guy that I was a better person or was better than what I was. That feeling alone is because I was alone. So I surrounded myself with people who don't make me feel alone. I surrounded myself with people who laugh with me, not at me. I've met so many great people throughout the years of doing YouTube. And I will say I have the greatest friends in the world. My friends are definitely better than your friends. You guys haven't even met all my friends. You guys have met Cass for sure, and then you've heard of Jello, who we'll talk more about Jello one day. He's the greatest man I know, definitely. And then, of course, my other best friend who I had a falling out with, and we've reconnected. And though we don't talk as much as we did, I know he's there. He knows I'm here. And it's great. I have people that I met at work. And I finally feel like I've gotten to where I belong. Not because I fit myself into a box, but because I ventured outside the box. Because I pushed for my goals and what I want and what I like. So if there's any real takeaway here, from me reminiscing, take that. Remember to push yourself to your limits, push past your limits, knock down those barriers, step over them, crawl under them, whatever you have to do to get around what's blocking you, do it. Don't let nobody or nothing stop you from achieving greatness. Because this is the happiest I've ever been. This is finally the time where my brain may not be quiet, but it's not as mean as it used to be. But anyways, I've got to hurry up, get my shoes on, get work pants on, because I'm in skinny jeans, and I've got to head to work. But thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry for the lack of uploads. Happy 4 years of me being LynkPlaysGames for you guys. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.